I'm sorry, y'all. Every time I think I'm in here, this thing ends up doing this to me. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me for this episode. I'm your host, Goddess Asha Mariama. I appreciate y'all for joining me for this episode. If you guys like the commentary and want to hear more, please go to Spreaker.com/a happier you leads to a healthier you. If you guys want to hear my platform on YouTube, it is a happier and healthier healing and recovery channel, and you can hit the like, subscribe, and notification button to receive notification on my videos. A little bit about me. I'm a certified recovery, healing, and recovery coach. That's all about helping people in their past and their journeys and their purpose to a new and better you. You can hear my podcast on Spreaker.com, on iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google. You can also hear it on Spotify, iTunes, and multiple other streaming companies. And you also, if you guys want to sponsor my channel, be a guest on my channel, or you just want to send me letters just telling me how this podcast is helping you on your journey as far as your recovery and addiction, you can reach me at asha.mariama01@gmail.com. That's asha.mariama01@gmail.com. I hope you guys are doing well. Me, I'm a little bit on the nausea side. My stomach has been nauseated. I've been drinking some Sprite, trying to calm it down. But actually, I've been doing a cleanse, so that's the reason why I'm kind of nauseous. So please forgive me. But this topic I want to talk about today is holistic healing and recovery versus modern medicine. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is because I have been misdiagnosed so many times by so many different doctors that don't take my concerns very seriously when it comes to my health and wellness. And that's how I ended up, part of the reasons I started this podcast, because we really need to talk about the misdiagnosis and what are these medications that we're getting as far as pills and capsules and tablets. They have all of these other things in them. How are they helping, to be honest? Because they give us pills for blood pressure, and yet our blood pressure is still high. They do chemo, but the cancer does nothing but spread. You take medications for STDs, and yet HIV, you can't get rid of it permanently. So there are some illnesses and diseases that no matter what medication you give them, is not going to go away. Herpes is one of them. And, it's just really crazy to me how we're doing all these things, but yet they're not permanent solutions. They're temporary solutions, and they're not making things better. It's just a temporary fix, temporary pain solution. So it's just like with pain. If you take Motrin, it's only going to help whatever pain at that time, but it's not going to help your nerve damage. It's not going to help your nerves as far as numbness and stuff like that. It's not going to help with that. So if you use oil, for example, you take Motrin, the pain ain't gonna do nothing but find somewhere else to go, and then you're gonna find something to take for it. So, for example, you may have lower back pain, and then you take something for it, and then the lower pain goes away, but now the pain is in the back of your neck. Now you got to take something for the back of your neck. Then it moves to your head. Now you got to take something for your head. So no matter where it goes, pain is always gonna go somewhere. It's just like with cancer. There are people that ends up being cancer free, and the cancer come right back, or it spreads. So the question is modern medicine really the solution to our problems? Or is holistic healing and recovery, as far as natural herbs and natural spices and fruits and vegetables, are those really our solutions? The flowers that are outside that grow in our backyards, are those really the solution? Is eating fruits and vegetables really our solution? And eating certain meats, is that what we need to do? It's just like people that will lose weight and then gain the weight right back, and they don't know how they gained it. Or people like myself that keep having hernias come back, and you don't even know why they came back. Or you have scarring in your stomach, and they have to constantly keep monitoring you to make sure that you good. So the one thing that I'm learning in holistic medicines is that holistic medicines are natural herbs and spices that people use back in the day for common colds. They all kinds of different things. And these people lived for hundreds of years. But modern medicine is like they just want people to take prescription drugs. Now, when I started looking into medications, because one time they gave me some medication for me being sick, and I ended up having the worst. Almost died off that medication. And so now I look at the back of the medication to see what's in it. A lot of times you can't find what's in it. It will only tell you what the side effects of it is. So if I look at the side effects and I see certain things, I ain't taking it. It's been like that even when it comes to anxiety. It's been like that. So you have to be very mindful of what your body will accept and what it will reject. So the body will reject things, believe it or not, and your body will accept certain things. So when it comes down to a lot of doctors, when I was going to doctors and telling them about the issues of me having pain and me having all these different issues, I almost lost my life because I had an infection in my gallbladder that I did not know that I had, that was never checked for, and they had to remove it. I had to have a hysterectomy because the fibroids were so bad. I was purely bleeding for months, literally 2 or 3 months bleeding. They had to remove my uterus. So instead of them trying to give me holistic ways of being able to heal it, they just took it. So again, a lot of people who basically have family members that have breast cancer and stuff like that, you got to be very mindful of it. And the worst part about it is the way our schedules are, it's really hard to go to the doctor when you work 8 to 5. That means you got to take off to go to a doctor's appointment. When you go to a new doctor, right, they don't do a thorough examination on you, meaning they don't do all of your blood work, they don't do all your x-rays, they don't do all of this stuff to tell you what's wrong. Like in Turkey, you go to Turkey, they're going to check everything. They're going to check for cancer, they're going to check for, they'll do the colonoscopy, they'll do everything. So if you get the colonoscopy done on Monday, let's say, because when you go out of the country, I think the first thing you should do is the colonoscopy and have them check everything. And then while you're at the hospital, they can check. Or like, for example, if you're going to be there for 7 days, I would recommend doing the colonoscopy and staying for another week just so you can heal. So I recommend staying for 2 weeks. If you're going to have any surgery done, I recommend staying for 2 weeks so you can recuperate. So let's just say you go and they do the test for 2 days. Let them go ahead and test you on Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, if you have if you have to have a colonoscopy, get the colonoscopy done. Stay at the hospital for a couple of days, and then stay for a whole another week just to make sure you're good. And then they can give you all your results and everything that you need. So if you want to find out if you have cancer, you want to get your breast done, then Monday and Tuesday I will get all my cancer stuff done. And then Wednesday and Thursday I would just get, go to the dentist. I would go and get everything done that you need done. And then they can tell you everything that's wrong. And then if you have to have Wednesday and Thursday, they give you, if they say that they're going to do your colonoscopy, and then they go ahead and do your colonoscopy, and they go ahead and they find something, go ahead and remove it, then let them go ahead and remove whatever it is they need to remove, and that'll be it on that. But they do everything all at one time. Whereas in here, they just do blood work, they'll do an MRI, but they don't just check everything. They just check whatever you tell them versus them checking everything to make sure everything's fine. I'd rather a doctor say we're gonna do a check on everything. We're gonna do blood work. We're gonna do your CT scan, neurology, and hearing issues, but they never tested her for cancer. She didn't even know she had cancer. Didn't even know what to look for, and she died 2 weeks after she was in the hospital. And that right there told me, make sure they do a thorough examination on you so you know what it is that you're going to be dealing with. So just be, what I'm saying, mindful of that. So the fact that so many people are dying because they don't know that how sick they are, that's because if you don't have insurance, you can't even be seen by a doctor. And then not only that, the amount that it costs you to go and find out what's wrong is expensive because you have to get the MRI separate, all the labs and the X-rays, CT scans, all that stuff done differently. Then you also got to get cancer scans and stuff like that. That stuff is expensive, and people don't have the money for that. So when it comes to holistic healing, if we were eating right and our food didn't have all this stuff in it, would we really be sick? No, we wouldn't. If they would stop worrying about trying to make food last for so long and just put the food out, and if people buy it, they buy it. If they don't, they don't. If it go bad, it just go bad. And maybe that would teach people to appreciate food. But no, that ain't what we do. So in the end, it sucks. But what can you do? So I get it. I do. But when you somebody that, you trying to eat right, and I'll give you an example. I was trying to find something to eat today because I really didn't take anything out to really fix to eat. And I said to myself, okay, what am I going to eat today? I'm going through Uber Eats and I don't see nothing that's healthy. I'm seeing, Zaxby's, but I don't see like a vegan, like soup and salad bar because I was looking for a soup and salad. That's what I wanted. Couldn't find one. All I saw was KFC, Burger King, Sonic. I saw a few other things. And I'm just sitting there like, why can't I find something that's holistic as far as food? Something that doesn't have seafood. Because let me explain. If you somebody got like myself who didn't start off having seafood allergies, but I now have seafood allergies and I don't know why I'm having it, where it's coming from. And when you go talk to the allergens about them doing the allergy test, they said the only thing they can do is draw blood. But they can't really tell you what food allergies that you have. So if you have a food allergy, you don't even know how you got it. I've been eating seafood for years, over 30 years. Never had any problem with seafood. All of a sudden now, I have allergies, and I don't know why. But then I figured it out. Now, if you look at the water now, the water is way darker because when I went on a cruise, the water was blue. I said, wait a minute. Why is our water white and their water is blue? That makes no sense. So I found out they bleach our water. Our water is not clean. Our water is actually dirty. They have to literally use bleach in order to cleanse our water. And all them seafood be in that water. That water is not clean. So if there's bacteria on that seafood, or if that seafood is in the manufacturing company, whatever chemicals they're using is what's giving people food allergies. So it's not that you're allergic to the food itself, it's whatever chemicals on it. And even with seafood, there are chemicals on it. So if you don't rinse off your chicken, some people will end up having allergic reaction. That's why there's all this recall, like on listeria and all this other stuff, because it's the seafood in that water has a bacteria on it that if you eat it, it makes people sick and they die. So this is what we're unfortunately, we're dealing with. So when you look at all these doctors and you're going to the doctor and you're telling them, I can't walk, they don't believe you. They think you're lying. And because they can't see it in an x-ray, they're saying they can't find it. Well, if you don't specialize in it, you ain't going to know what to look for. But then if I go to Turkey or somewhere like that, and they tell me you have a cyst on your abdomen, we need to get this off. So then they'll end up removing this cyst immediately, and now the cyst is gone. Versus the doctor saying, well, because you have a cyst on your abdomen, it's small, we don't think it needs to be removed. I think it needs to be removed. So in the end, it's like a lot of people going to doctors' offices and they're telling them, oh, it's just in your imagination. They give you some placebo pill, give it to you, make it seem like you're fine, and you're not fine. It's still not gone away. There are people every day living with chronic pain every day and constantly trying to take something that's going to make it better. But really, you're going to have to exercise in order to overcome that chronic pain. So when you exercise, I do notice, yeah, you're going to be in a lot of pain, but eventually that pain subsides. Why? Because you're exercising. Whereas if you're sitting still just taking pills, it's just going to get worse. You got to be mentally disciplined to be able to deal with the pain. It's no different than when you go through mental and psychological pain and you're going through some type of depression. What do they tell you? Suck it up, get up, and act like it didn't exist. Suck it up, get up, and move on from it. Well, guess what? With chronic pain, you got to do the same thing. You have to get up, you got to move around, you got to walk, and yes, it hurts, but you got to stay active. Because if you get to sit down, you ain't gonna do nothing. You're gonna end up having more pain, and it's gonna be harder for you to move, and then eventually you're gonna be stiff as a board, and you ain't gonna be able to move. So even though, yes, it hurts, and yes, it's painful, and yes, that pain is going to spread, that's why I say take something like Tylenol, something before you exercise. But yeah, it does work when you exercise. Now, I'm not saying do nothing that's going to have you out here worse than what you are. But if you're able to move, it will definitely help. And eventually that pain ends up subsiding because now that you're working out all parts of your body, where is that pain going to go? Now, mind you, if you are going to be hurting at first and it's going to be like, oh my God, I don't even want to get out of bed. And that's okay. That's what they tell you. When you first start working out and you got chronic pain, it's okay to take a day or two off. Then you get back up, you do it again. And just take it slow. Go at your pace. Like for me, when they came down and walking down the steps the other day, my leg was hurt. But guess what? I walked my butt down them steps and I went to the trash and came back upstairs. And I made it up the steps, and that was good. So again, baby steps. You don't have to work. You don't have to walk 10,000 steps when you first start if you're overweight. If that means you walk from here to the end of the building and you walk back and forth, that is fine. As long as you walk in back and forth, that is all that matters. So it's okay if you can't walk 10,000 steps at first. It's okay if you can't bend down and touch your toes. It's okay if you can't get down on that ground and you can't get up. It's okay. As long as you tried. That is what matters. As long as you tried. As long as you attempted to get up and do something, that's what matters. But when it comes to holistic healing has nothing to do with medication. It has nothing to do with modern medicine. You know, everybody's trying to get that fountain of youth. Everybody wants to be able to be young again, to be able to start over. But unfortunately, we can't find that fountain of youth. But the only way you can really push it back It's not even pushing back time. You can't push back time, but you can make yourself healthy to live longer. So there is no going back in time. You can't go back in time. I don't know why we keep saying it. You can't go back in time. Time is already gone. But you have to make the best of the time that you got. Make the best of what it is that you're doing. Meditation is definitely something that is good. Sleep is another one. But the one thing that people don't understand that is bad for you is strolling. I just found out recently that with strolling, you don't blink, and all you're doing is strolling. And what you don't realize is you're taking in so much information. Your brain is on overload, and for some people like myself, you get in a car, you end up having a panic attack because your eyes are so used to strolling down, 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 that when it comes to looking forward, you messed up your eyes. I'm going through that now. And that's why I have anxiety when I drive, because I'm so used to strolling that I don't give myself a break. So sometimes you need to give yourself a break. And what's even worse is when you're at work and you're strolling. But at least at work, you're not just strolling, strolling, strolling. You might be going down because you're looking at something and pulling something up, but you're doing it slowly versus being on social media and you're strolling through and then clicking on something, strolling through, then clicking on something. That ain't good for your eyes. And that does cause physical anxiety in the eyes. And then if you're not getting enough sleep because you're on social media strolling, that ain't healthy either. So getting on social media for a little bit, taking a social media break and saying, you know what, I'm gonna take some time off social media. If you're not on there for money reasons, then you don't need to be on there at all. So like I said, there's nothing wrong with you saying, okay, I'm gonna look for a movie and stroll and look for a movie, or you want to see your sister's pictures and you want to look at pictures. Nothing wrong with that. But you don't need to spend 12 hours on social media. Get off, listen to music, watch a movie, catch up on movies. I'm telling you, strolling on YouTube, strolling period, you won't even realize how fast the day go by. They go by really, really fast. So there's so many different things that modern society does that not only is making us sick, but we're dying. We're dying because of some of the most unnecessary reasons that really could be prevented if they would start letting people have free healthcare. But they're never going to do that. And they act like it's other people's fault because they're dying. Not necessarily. There are some people that's trying to be healthy and they're still dying. So now what? So I'm just saying, you don't know what may or may not happen. So all I'm saying to y'all is, modern medicine, yes, it does help. It does do a temporary fix, but it's not going to fix the permanent problem. And that permanent problem ain't going to do nothing but get worse. And eventually the body does get immune to that medication. And then you got to find another one and then another one. Then not only that, some of those medications are not natural. They're not organic. They're not holistic. They have other chemicals in there that are making you sick and making things worse. It happens all the time. So I need people to understand that when it comes to holistic healing and when it comes to natural healing, that is your best bet to go. Your best bet to go is, protein. Nothing wrong with having protein shakes. Nothing wrong with having, creamer, but just make your own. Make your own creamers. If you somebody that milk don't work for you, then make your own oat milk. Make your own almond milk. Yes, you can buy something to make your own almond milk and your own milk if that's what you want to do. So you can make your own stuff. That is the safest way for you to be healthy, is if you make your own stuff. If you make your own cookies, you make your own breads, you make your own stuff, that is your best bet. Because there's a way that you can make bread and it's good for you. There are ways that you can make desserts and they're good for you. Because they do have cane sugar that's not white, that's not bleached. They have raw cane sugar that's not bleached at all. And it's much better than that regular bleached that bleach. You also have Himalayan salts, Celtic salt. You have different salts that are good for you that you don't have to take the one you normally do. So there's nothing wrong with that. I get it. So these journeys are never easy when it comes to health and wellness and being healthy and being the best version of yourself. And then not only that, even in mental health, it's the same thing. How do we keep our self-esteem, self-worth, and self-value when we get all these people trying to sabotage and destroy and do all these things to you? Like all what's going on right now with autism and the fact that they just got rid of the Department of Special Needs. And now these kids with special needs may not even be able to go to school, and then these parents ain't gonna be able to work. It's just like that. Stuff like that. It's just stupid stuff like this is why we sick. Stupid stuff like that. Stuff that can be so easily prevented. So you're sick not because of you, meaning if you're someone that is doing the right thing and you're eating right, but yet the rest of your life is messed up, that ain't your fault, it's everybody else's. Because you have a society that is so much a walking contradiction. They claim they're about health and wellness, but yet all these foods that have all these chemicals in it that are bad for you, they sell in the store cheaper than the actual foods that are actually good for you. I was looking at deli meat and I found this one word, and it causes cancer. And it's in deli food. There's something, and I forgot what it was, that they put in makeups. It's even stuff that they put in concrete that's in your food. So when you see them big gigantic words, look them up and then see the side effects. You'll be like, absolutely none of my buying this. If it has like modified corn syrup or modified anything, if it says bioengineered, I'm not buying it. I used to love chocolate chip cookies. I used to love Chips Ahoy and Oreo cookies till it said bioengineered. I said, absolutely not. I ain't buying it. It's just like when it comes down to when it says it may have shellfish or it may have something else. I'm like, I ain't buying it. So the vast majority of your food has other stuff on it. The vast majority of your fruits and vegetables are grown in labs, and they don't even look like the original fruits and vegetables. Some of them are way too big, and I'm looking at like this. This can't be a bell pepper. I went to the Bahamas and saw what a real bell pepper and what a real pineapple looked like. I was like, absolutely not. So a lot of our stuff has chemicals and injections that makes our food last longer, but at the same time, we're dying because of it. Not only that, you're trying to get rid of COVID and not understanding COVID came from food. Oh, that part right there. I read on COVID. COVID is not an airborne disease. That's why so many people didn't get it. Actually, it was food. It was what you were eating. That's what was making you sick. A lot of these animals were eating some stuff, and we ended up eating right behind them, and it ended up causing COVID. Because the first one that got COVID was not from airborne, it was from a bat that they ate. That's how they ended up with COVID. Is it contagious? It could be. So what I will say about that is that the more information you have, the better choice and decision that you have that you can make. And your action and behavior will be based upon that. So you just have to be mindful of what you eat, what you drink, be mindful of the decisions you make, and everything should be good. So I get it. But life is hard. So again, there are other things: stress, trauma, anxiety, depression, being led astray, manipulated, bamboozled, led astray, physical abuse, SA, MO. It's a lot of things that affect your health and wellness. Money, power, being broke, no car, no transportation, being homeless, It's a lot of things that cause so many things. But again, it's not fall, it's how you rise. So is these journeys easy? Nope. But living a holistic life is well better than eating a bunch of food that's making you sick. Now, don't get me wrong, I had McDonald's. I did. I had McDonald's because I couldn't find, again, I can't even find food that is pure without a bunch of chemicals. I'm trying to find something that has nothing to it. It's exactly what the ingredients call for. That's crazy. So I don't understand, but it is what it is. But health and wellness is never going to be easy. And everybody's going to tell you different ways on how to go about doing it. But I have a recommendation that does work, and it works for everybody. The only difference is whatever products that you take are going to be different. That's it. But the way you go about this, I've learned it works because it works for me. And it's something that everybody can do, no matter who it is, what size you are. It doesn't matter. Number one is you want to start off with I would say, start off with a 12-hour fast or a 10-hour fast. And that is you stop eating after, let's say, you stop eating before 6 o'clock. Well, before 8. I start with 8. So you stop eating at 8 o'clock. You don't have your first meal of the day until after 8 o'clock that morning. And then from 8 to 8, within an 8-hour period, that's when you'll stop eating. So let's say, for example, 8 o'clock in the morning, you might eat your first meal of the day, or you might have a smoothie, or you might juice. Now, what exercise should you be doing while you're doing this? Meditation. You should meditate. You should do stretches. You should do those type of exercises in the morning. Now, those are exercises I recommend. I don't recommend doing treadmills. I don't recommend walking in the morning because everything that you walked off, you're going to end up putting right back on you because you just ate. So unless you're going to juice after you eat, then don't do it. Don't eat nothing. If you're going to work out, don't eat. Juice instead. So what you do, instead of you going and getting something to eat, you go and get some juice. Just juice. Now, if you want to have a meal, then look at the amount of calories that you lost. And then try to eat within either a little bit below that, if you can. So the last meal of the day, that is when you can go for your walk, or you can either do your exercise. Now, if you plan on doing like going to the gym, then yeah, you can go for a walk in the morning and do your 10,000 steps. But I would recommend in the evening time, that's when you do all your aerobic exercises, whether it be your ab machine, your stretch machine, your twist machine, your sit-up machine. That is when you do your major workouts, because that way, whatever you have ate before you go to bed has been worked off. So you're going to work off every single bit of what you ate. And you're going to have something that you can write in to keep up with your calories of how much you ate that day. So you know how much you need to work off. And then the next morning, you're going to do the same thing. So do not do any exercises until after you eat and work it off. So even during lunch, work it off. Because the point is, you want to work off what you ate. That is how you're going to maintain that weight. Now, when you lose the weight and you're trying to maintain the weight, then you don't have to work out so much. You can work out 2 times a week and it don't matter, because you don't work, you're doing the walking, you're doing stretches, you're doing like dance exercises, And you might go to the gym 3 days a week to go do a major workout. Because if you lose weight and you start doing that same training, you're going to start losing muscle because there's no more fat to work off. So if you're to a point where you don't have any fat to burn, then I recommend you just do something for as toning exercise. And whatever you did when you lost the weight, you got to do for the rest of your life. There is no, I'm going to go back and eating bad foods, or I'm going to go back doing this because now that I lost the weight, now I can go back to eating what I wanted. No, you can't. Whatever you did to lose the weight is whatever you have to do to maintain it. Also, your vitamin E, your vitamin D, your vitamin B, B12, K, D3, vitamin D3, vitamin B12, vitamin A, your zinc, your immune, aswana, stress relievers. So whatever you were taking, as far as supplements, doing protein shakes, whatever you're doing, you're going to continue to do. The only difference is you're changing products. You might do also a parasite cleanse every 6 months, 3 to 6 months. You're going to do a parasite cleanse. If you're somebody who doesn't have a gallbladder and you're not going to the bathroom, then you need to start, using and going to the bathroom as far as taking a laxative so you can always keep your bowel movement. Make sure your bowel movement is actually going where it's supposed to, because water does not help as far as the bowel movement. It don't. It don't. So the only thing that water does is it keeps the body hydrated. So water is good as far as urine, but when it comes to number 2, if it's stuck in your intestines, then it's not gonna come down. It's not gonna come down. So the main thing is cleansing out your intestines, making sure your intestines are clean, making sure you're going to the bathroom like you're supposed to, eating foods that are high in fiber, protein, vegetables, and fruit. If you do make cookies and stuff like that, again, you have cane sugar that is not white. It's actually brown. That's healthier. You don't have to use as much of it, and you'll be able to still have your sweets. So you can have those things. You just can't have as much of it. So there are ways that you can have sweets and you can separate, and they definitely work. They absolutely work. But is it going to be easy? No. So you will be changing products. You will not be taking the same product. Your body will get immune to it and it won't work. As far as like one of the doctors, Dr. Michael Diamond, he said that you have to eat the same foods every day. Now, you can do that, but eventually your body going to get tired of it and it's going to want something else. And you're going to have to be able to, you have to manipulate the body, basically. So in order for you to introduce it to something new, you're going to have to manipulate it into something old. So the body will either accept it, reject it, or it'll be addicted to it. But you have to figure out what works for your individual body. But all the things I said, all the vitamins, supplements, hair stuff, all that matters. Making sure that you have, different vitamins that don't have all them chemicals in it. Making sure that, it's where it's manufactured. All that stuff matters because it does. So you have to make sure you have holistic, some people may have to end up creating their own products because the products don't work. Nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, it's going to be okay. So, all I can say is that it's going to be interesting. But, staying healthy is all on you. So, a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't have protein shakes. You shouldn't have yogurt. You shouldn't have this. The bottom line is you need calcium. Bottom line is you can make your own yogurt and you can make your own milks, and you can make all of these things. But you just got to be willing to do the work of whatever it's going to take to do it. So, losing weight, being healthy, it's really up to you what you want to do. So, nobody can make you, you know, a lot of people are just losing weight for the wrong reason. They're doing things for the wrong reasons, and it's not for the legitimate right reasons. So when it comes to losing weight, you got to make sure that when it comes to being healthy, it's not easy. A lot of people do gastro bypass surgery, and some people gain the weight back. And you're like, you can't be serious. So being healthy is not easy. Being healthy is a lot of work, but in the end, it's worth it when you are able to see the results and maintain it. When you maintain the lifestyle that you're trying to be accustomed to, whether it's finances, relationships, raising kids. It's so much right now going on in the world. It's a wonder that we're even surviving all of this. And no, it is not easy. I will tell anybody going through all this is not easy. It ain't. But when you see your results and when you see everything that you're trying to do, makes it all worth it. So that's how I look at it. But you got to be able to maintain whatever it is that you're trying to do. So regardless of what it is, just try to maintain it. Is it going to be easy? No. But if you're determined to be healthy, you're determined to live on this world for a long period of time, then you got to realize how important your health and wellness is. Sometimes your health and wellness is more important than relationships. Excuse me. Sometimes your health and wellness is more important than the things that you want and desire that are bad for you. So one of the first things you got to say to yourself, regardless of what it is that you're dealing with, is if I do this, how is it going to affect my health and wellness? You know what I'm saying? So you don't never know how something's going to play out. So all I can tell you is these journeys are not easy. Losing weight, being healthy, being successful, all of it isn't easy. But when you see the results, when you see everything that you're accomplishing, it makes it all worth it. So I hope this episode helps you guys as far as holistic and healing and recovery versus modern medicine. And we'll continue going on this journey of both. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me for this episode. I'm your host, Goddess Ashi Miriyama. Until next time, we'll talk later. Bye, y'all.